Matthew Clark is here on behalf of the United Earth Alliance, and we firmly tell the Galactic Empire to change its strategy. Earth is not your adversary, but this is your sole warning that we will retaliate if you enter our land. As Thek slapped a clawed paw onto the control panel, the audience erupted in laughter. With daring, he shouted, his tail flicking, "They believe they can scare the Empire with meaningless phrases," so they flick in annoyance. One of his officers, a lieutenant, with pale blue scales and an anxious appearance, cleared his throat. "Admiral, maybe they are confident because of something we haven't explained," Lieutenant Varric said. "For a prehistoric hyperdrive culture, communication technologies are astonishingly advanced." DK gave him a stern look. "So, Lieutenant Varric, are you saying that we should be afraid of these primitives because they can hardly scrape their own moon's surface, let alone pose a menace to mankind in the interim?" Lieutenant Commander Ryan Decker gazed at the same holographic image deep within the most secure military installation on Earth. Simultaneously, hundreds of ships from the Galaxy fleet appeared on his display, creating a menacing wall of firepower. His piercing blue eyes analyzed the data as his hands rested on the sleek console. The corner of Ryan's mouth tugged as he mumbled with a sardonic grin. "Surely they brought the entire group, didn't they? Should I bring out the snacks, sir?" Ryan turned to hear a voice behind him. Chief Engineer Jonah Hayes leaned against the doorway with a wrench in one hand and a steaming coffee mug in the other. Jonah was the type of genius who was always rumpled and half sarcastic. Ryan found it amusing that a toaster and duct tape might be used to create a starship engine. Rolling his eyes, Ryan replied, "But I need you till you figure out how to use caffeine as a weapon." Jonah took a dramatic drink of his coffee. "At your station, as the ships close in, they're probably coming for a pleasant game of interplanetary chess, so calm yourself, Commander." He paused, lowering his voice to something more serious. "Or perhaps they simply don't trust you when you say that Ryan turned Earth into a target." His jaw tightened as he returned to the monitor. "They'll believe it in the end." Officers rushed swiftly between stations in the control room, showing anxiety. Sentinel, Earth's quantum supercomputer, was at the center of the hum of sophisticated AI systems. With its precise and serene voice, Commander Decker addressed it. "Sentinel, start Phase 1. The enemy fleet will breach the outer defense barrier in 15 minutes. Sentinel paused, shaking its head. "Let's see how far they're willing to go first." "Commander, I appreciate your prudence when assessing probabilities, however, according to statistics, there is a 97% chance the Galactic Empire will disregard the warning. But there's always a 3% possibility they develop a change of heart," Sentinel responded. Ryan's conscience said, "It seems unlikely," to which Sentinel immediately responded, "Ryan, any movement?" "Nothing," Ryan observed, glancing at the monitor. "They're still playing chicken." On the other end, Matthew chuckled as usual. "So they're getting close. Has an exaggerated admiral been pacing around calling us reptiles and monkeys?" As he passed B. Skitter, Jonah added, "There's a big difference in humor." Ryan's visage tightened as Sentinel spoke again, but it was brief because a warning alarm sounded across the room. "The enemy fleet has crossed the outer barrier and is headed straight for Earth. It is advised that the defense systems activate." Ryan let out a deep breath, his thoughts racing. "They've made their decision." "Sentinel, activate Phase 1, but keep the big guns ready. Display all of our cards as soon as you instruct," Ryan ordered. Sentinel responded, "Understood." Back on board, the Grand Admiral Derricks of the Eternal Dominion and Glee observed the fleet's advance. He gestured to his officers, saying, "Unchallenged, see? These humans are nothing." However, the fleet was pushed farther into Earth's territory by cowards who lacked the will to defend themselves. As their sensors searched for any indications of resistance, a pulse abruptly rippled across space in a nuanced yet strategic maneuver, briefly interfering with their communications. "Minor disruption," Lieutenant Varric observed, his voice tinged with anxiety. "They continue to progress, But back on Earth, the pulse wasn't inconsequential. Ryan observed the disturbance wasn't an attack, but a message that caused some chaos within the enemy fleet. "Jonah, how's the next phase coming along?" Ryan asked. Jonah tapped his tablet and smiled. "Oh, it's ready. Just waiting for the green light." "I've even added a little extra flair just for fun," Ryan remarked. The Eternal Dominion's fleet appeared to be somewhat shuddered as they raised an eyebrow, scowling with confidence. Another pulse struck, more powerful than the last. "I'm not sure what this admiral means. It seems like a warning," Ryan muttered reluctantly as a new transmission, this time from Matthew, appeared on the screen. Once again, Clark's face remained unchanged. "This is your final chance. Go back now. The choice is yours, or we will reply." The sneer came back as the admiral smashed his fist on the console. Ryan observed the fleet's acceleration toward Earth, knowing they had already made their decision. Turning to Jonah, Ryan grinned grimly. "Yes," Jonah mentioned, after drinking his coffee and throwing the mug in the trash, "it's the wrong one." Earth's defenses hummed to life as the galactic fleet advanced, but a terrible storm was just waiting to be unleashed. Ryan took one more look at the monitor, his determination unwavering. "Let's give them something to remember," he ordered, his advanced assault forces to be deployed. Lieutenant Varric hesitated, breaking the tension. "Let's remind these humans what true power looks like." He paused for a moment before responding. "Yes, Admiral." Small fighter squadrons quickly separated from the larger warships over his console, their sleek outlines. Back in Earth's control center, the atmosphere glinted as they strode toward the planet's defense barrier. In the midst of the confusion, Ryan Decker stood with a calm yet forceful voice. Officers rushed to their positions to coordinate as he gave orders. The holographic depiction of Earth's orbit revealed the planetary defenses. Sentinel reacted with its emotionless, smooth voice. "Commander, should I deploy the automated system as soon as Phase 2 is operational?" Ryan nodded. "Let's see." The crowd went quiet as the picture of Earth's orbit changed, revealing the first line of defense. Among the planet's satellites, tiny spherical turrets sprung to life. Without making any noise, the targeting systems locked onto the approaching fighters. As the turrets fired, they blasted a brilliant explosion of plasma that illuminated the empty space. The precision was astounding as they advanced through the opposition squadrons, ruthlessly taking out targets. Eternal Dominion's efficiency wavered when Admiral Derricks observed his fleet. "What is this?" he muttered, tail wagging in irritation. "Fighters disintegrate in the blink of an eye," Admiral Varric started cautiously. "It seems that their technology is more sophisticated than we had thought." Ryan grinned. "We just need to have the decoys ready for 2 minutes before they're overwhelmed." Locked and loaded, Jonah gave him the thumbs up. "This will be entertaining," Ryan said. Ryan's control activated a number of vacant satellites, powering them up and projecting holographic duplicates of Earth's defenses. The alien cruiser split its fire, attempting to target the real ones, but their synchronization faltered, and DK slammed his fist against his console. "What's going on?" he growled. "They're employing countermeasures, Admiral Varric." "I don't care. If we hit decoys," the Admiral said, turning to his weapons officer, "fire the planetary bombardment missiles." Warnings buzzed through Earth's control room as Ryan's jaw tensed. "Here we go," he whispered. Jonah leaned over as Sentinel reported the impact of the approaching missiles. "I have a small surprise." "For him," he said, fingers flying across the keys. Ryan looked at him, wanting to share Jonah's enthusiasm. "What do you mean?" Jonah shrugged. "Let's just say they'll have a hard time navigating." One by one, Earth's defensive systems scrambled the missiles' guiding systems. Some swerved off course, tumbling out of control. Others exploded harmlessly in space. "They're playing with us," DK whispered, his confidence faltering for the first time at the carnage on display. Admiral Varric hesitated, then spoke in a deadly voice. "Perhaps we should reevaluate our strategy." Their defenses are stronger than anticipated. Thex's eyes narrowed. Do you know what failure looks like in the Empire? Paling, Lieutenant Varric replied, Yes, sir. Ryan examined the data on Earth. The first skirmish had gone their way, but he knew the Empire wouldn't back down. What's their next move, Sentinel? He asked. Sentinel paused before responding. Research indicates a 78% chance they will use ground forces to try to get around the orbital defenses. Jonah murmured, Nothing like welcoming uninvited guests. Ryan smirked. Let's raise the ante. Bring Phase 3 online. Jonah smiled with delight. This will show them what Earth is truly capable of. A fresh wave of holographic projections emerged. The galactic fleet hesitated as its sensors were flooded with conflicting information. Ryan observed the mayhem, claws sinking into his console. I'll show them what happens when you defy the Empire. The Eternal Dominion's enormous energy buildup reached critical levels. Jonah looked at Ryan and asked, How big are we talking? Big enough to turn this base into a crater, Ryan said. Grimly. Big enough to turn this base into a crater, Ryan said grimly. Jonah whistled. Well, that's just rude, Sentinel confirmed. We are prepared for countermeasures. As the conflict escalated, the stakes had never been higher. Ryan Decker stood resolute. He knew the Eternal Dominion would soon discover the consequences of underestimating humanity. The control room was silent, except for the hum of technology and the steady, determined voice of Commander Ryan Decker.